At this time, I would like to call our Tuesday, June the 22nd, 2021 public service meeting to order. Madam Secretary, roll call to establish a quorum.
Vice Chairman Sherry Pickering.
Here.
Alderman Eve Ludwig.
Here.
Tricia T.
Present.
Aaron Trolia.
Present.
Robert Williams.
Present.
Baron York.
Present.
Chairman Rick Streeting. 6 present.
At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes of May. Yep, I'm on the right one. Okay. Minutes of May the 25th, 2021. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Yeah, a second.
Any discussion or debate? Roll call.
Alderman Ludwig.
Yes.
T.
Yes.
Trolia.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Streeting. 6 yes.
At this time, I'll need a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? Roll call.
Alderman T.
Yes.
Trolia.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Streeting. 6 yes.
Madam Clerk, do we have any audience comments?
No, we do not, Vice Chairman.
Thank you. Chairman comment at this time, as Vice Chair, I do not have any comments. Approval of payrolls. At this time, I'll need a motion and a second to approve the payrolls roll period ending June the 18th of 2021. Do I have a first or a second? Motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or debate? Roll call, please.
Alderman Trolia.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
T.
Yes.
Streeting. 6 yes.
Ready? Okay. Approval of vouchers payable. At this time, I need a motion to approve the vouchers payable for June the 22nd, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call, please.
I have a couple of questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Raise your hand. I'm sorry. I gotta look up, don't I?
It's okay. On the list of payables, there's a number of payables that say Verizon citywide for June, but there's a number of them. It's more than 10 because I stopped counting once I got to 10. So I'm wondering, is it really citywide? I'm trying to understand why there's so many.
Alderman T, are you talking about, for example, when you go about a quarter of the way down on the first page there where it says June service citywide from Verizon Wireless?
Correct. And if you start counting from there and go to the next page and then the page after that, there's at least 11, I think.
Our city cell phone bills are allocated according to department and division. So that's just the bills broken out by that department and division.
Okay, so then it's not really a citywide account. It's really departmental accounts.
We have one account, but there's a budget from each division is charged according to the amount of phones or service that they use.
So it's payable from different accounts.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the next question I had was the very last item on the payables for $4,590 for drug terminator.
I can answer that. That is a piece of equipment that Danville PD is purchasing to be able to dispose of evidence, specifically drugs that are
Oh.
seized during their
Okay.
activities.
Okay, those are the only questions I had.
Are there any other
Yes, we
questions?
definitely don't want some of that stuff burning anywhere. That would be bad business for us.
Are there any other questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Williams,
Yes.
York.
Aye.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Abstain.
Troya,
Yes.
Streaming. 5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries.
City clerk's report.
Good evening. The office has been busy with the annual business license renewals and special event permits. And tomorrow we're having our shred day for, I think we have like 364 boxes of documents. So we will be busy in the morning taking care of that. That's all I have.
Any questions for our city clerk? Okay, we will move on. Finance report from our comptroller, Ashlyn Massey.
We have several items of information. First, we'll have the risk manager monthly report
Okay,
from
from Kathy
Ms.
Corson.
Corson.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. The report should be in your packet. I did want to kind of note, I know we've got some new aldermen that are new and are not have some of the experience that we've had for our health insurance. So I did want to point out, if you notice, our 2020 premium amount for the month is more than what our May 2021 premium amount is for the month. And that is because of the fact that back in 2020, we actually had a 7.5% reduction in premiums. In 2019, we had a 10%. So it has steadily declined. Unfortunately, it's a little difficult right now. COVID has kind of skewed what numbers and I guess the kind of history for us. So it's a little difficult at this time. We are kind of looking at a higher usage rate for this time period compared to last year when it comes to that. But like I said, that is because COVID kind of skewed it. We had 2 months in that time period where no one was able to, unless it was an absolute emergency, to be able to utilize a healthcare facility. So in the next few months, we'll kind of have more of an idea of what our utilization is looking like, so we can kind of get an idea of what possibly our premiums will look like for 2022. It's hard to think about all that. But I wanted to also note, we did have 2 workers' compensation claims in May. One of those did have time loss. It does look like it's an excessive amount because of 15 days, but understand that's not 15 24-hour shifts for a firefighter. Workers' comp looks at things as each individual day. So they count 7 days per week. So that's why being off was not necessarily, it was not 15 firefighter actual days. It was actual 15 days per week or 15 days in a weekly cycle, put it that way. We did have a very busy liability month in May. We had 12 liability claims in all. 5 are I'm able to bill to other parties and try to get payment from them for the damages to city property. 4 were denied, and 3 would be city responsibility to pay. Any questions?
Kathy? Don't see any questions at this time. Okay, we will move on to the personnel monthly report from Jamie White.
Good evening. You should have your reports in front of you. We did have, we had 4 new hires this past month, and we had 2 employees separate, giving us a net increase of 2 employees. So currently we have 240 employees who are eligible for benefits. We did have 1 transfer. Phil Wilson went from retired as a police officer and is now our evidence manager. I did want to note that we do have a job offer out for Assistant Corporation Counsel, and hopefully we'll be hearing from that person within the next week or so. And then we are closed on Monday, July 5th in observance of Independence Day. We did have an increase of 4 in our seasonal employees. So right now we have 32 seasonal temporary employees. And that's basically it for your personnel report.
Thank you, Jamie. Is there any questions for Jamie? Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Is there any additional information we need from our finance department?
I don't have many additional updates from last time. We just received the American Rescue Plan Act compliance and reporting guidance a few days ago. I still haven't had a chance to go through that, but it's good to have that in our hands so we know what we're getting into. Illinois Municipal League, I emailed Brad Cole, and he said they will be issuing a model ordinance to accept the terms and conditions for the ARPA funding, which is why I haven't brought it to you yet. I thought I would wait and see what IML put out for that. We're busy working on our annual audit. Auditors are on site doing field work currently. The feedback has been positive so far, so that's good news. And we are preparing for utility billing and collections to come in-house. So does anybody have any questions for the finance department? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. And we'll move on now to the fire report from the fire chief, Don Masters.
Slower month than the previous month as far as fires go. It's more importantly as far as dollar figures go. Had five structure fires in the month of May to the effect of about $26,000 worth of total loss, as opposed to the month before when we had a huge loss because we had a business factory fire. You also will note we had a passenger vehicle fire, actually 2 passenger vehicle fires, but one of them was a significant loss because it was a full-size RV that burnt and was completely destroyed. So fairly quiet month as far as dollar figures are concerned. About $36,000 for loss for the month. Total incident count was 309 for the month. That includes fires, emergencies, everything. Again, five working structure fires for a total of about $26,000 worth of damage. Several of those were suspicious or definite incendiary fires. We've got a couple things we're working on right now. Obviously, with the weather being nice, we've been out doing business inspections. We continue to do business inspections, but this month has been our month of doing hose testing every year annually. All the hose on every piece of apparatus has to be pressure tested to make sure it meets requirements for the year. So that's about 1 truck a day. So it takes us about 10 or 11 days total to get them all done, plus the extra hose we have and things. We work around the weather. Like, for instance, Friday of last week, it was almost 100 degrees out. So we found something else for the guys to do for the day. Tomorrow, I believe, is the last truck we've got to do, and then that'll be completed for the year. As well as, again, been out doing business inspections plus our normal training functions. As far as major things going on right now, I've made mention of it before, and we are still working out details to the effect of needing to get a new radio system for our department for our trucks in the city. Looking at roughly about $340,000 worth of equipment and infrastructure that's need to be done before it's complete. That'll be replacing everything we have for radios in the trucks, radios in the stations, portable radios for individuals to carry, as well as all the repeater and tower sites in the city. We're working on several avenues with this. We're talking with the emergency building commission at the PSB to see if they would have any interest or would be willing to help us take care of some of that expense, or otherwise we'll be looking at it for expenses from the city's take. That's still in the works. We're still waiting on more details for that. The air pack grant that we purchased all the new air packs for all the trucks for with 100% grant money. Those are going to go into service. We're waiting on a couple of minor pieces to show up. A couple of masks for a couple of individuals so that everybody has what they need. We'll be putting all those in service on the trucks, hopefully by the end of this week. That's all I have major going on right now. Of course, we have coming up, it's that time of year, so we've got fireworks coming up. So far, we've received, which you've already been notified in city council meetings. So far, we've received permits for fireworks at the boat club and at Turtle Run. I've been told that there is fireworks going to be at the Gale Grotto, but I've not received any permit application for that yet. So next couple weeks, we're going to be hearing a lot of booming and popping and banging, which again, you've been notified of already by the city clerk. That's all I have for now. If anybody has any questions.
I have one, Masters. Can you give us an update on the training facilities there on Voorhees as to what's going on with that?
I actually just today received the preliminary report from our city engineer in reference to not only the tower but all the buildings. And I was in negotiation meetings all day, so I've not even had a chance to read it yet. He wants me to read it over and make sure everything's there that needs to be, or anything needs to be taken out of it. And then they are looking at the possibility of then taking that report and giving it to an outside firm that specializes in fire stations and other fire structures to come in and do a further in-depth report and a little more dollar figures report as to what, if anything, needs to be done for stations as well as the training tower. So I have nothing new on the training tower as of right now. Also, too, that's another piece of information while I've got you on. If anybody has any interest to watch Saturday starting at 8 a.m. out at Station 3 is the physical agility portion of the testing process for new hires to create a new hires list. So starting 8 o'clock Saturday morning, I believe we have 27 candidates, assuming they all show up, that will be there in the morning to do the physical agility portion of the tests. And if they pass that, then they move on to the written portion and then the oral interviews. But with that, we have been, per the engineers that have come in town already, they have told us that the first two floors of the tower, first floor and second floor, are of acceptable to be utilized. The third floor as well as the fourth floor, which is actually the roof, are not to be utilized for any reason until they deep further into repairs, find out what repairs will take and what it will cost, and then get it done. That's as much as I have on the tower right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh,
I just have a question. And is Station 3 Griffin Street?
Yes, Station 3 is Griffin Street, the one at 1111 North Griffin. It'll start at 8 o'clock. And again, assuming all 27 candidates show up, 27 of them one at a time have to climb to the top of our aerial ladder and then down. And then we one at a time run in through the court, 6 minutes to complete. So if all of them show up by 10:30 or 11 o'clock, we'll be done, if not sooner.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Don. We will now move on to human relation report from our administrator, Sandra Finch.
Good evening, everyone. From the period of June 21st, the office handled 30 complaints, which consisted of 5 police complaints, 9 employment complaints, 2 complaints against other city employees, 12 housing complaints, and 2 public accommodation complaints. Do you have any questions regarding the complaints? Okay, I also know that in reference to the email I sent you yesterday, I resent the memo that was sent to the mayor and the city council on March 19th. And I sent that for the new aldermen. So I would just like to ask any of the new aldermen, do they have any questions regarding the duties and responsibilities of my office?
I have one question. So does coming to you, if someone decides they wanted to file a claim with the federal EEOC, does coming to you preclude them from doing that, or could they do both?
They could do both.
Okay.
Any other questions for Sandra? Thank you, Sandra.
Well, I also want to talk about Community
I'm sorry.
Day.
Oh,
Also,
yes, we got one more yes. We got an important
yeah.
date.
Oh, I'm sorry. Another
ahead.
question?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I sent you the flyer for Community Day, and we have a group coming from Peoria, Illinois. Tried to change it up this year and just bring in a group from out of town. And they're called Joshua Cooper and One Accord. So I hope you all will be there to help serve the food and just to enjoy the program. Do you have any questions about Community Day?
Is that Sandra?
I'm sorry, Alderman Williams, what did you say?
What day is that on?
July 11th. You should have received it in the flyer that I sent you by email, via email.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Not
Okay.
yet. Okay.
Okay.
It's July
Well,
the 11th.
Yes, and I'll put a flyer in your mailbox, Alderman Williams, okay?
Okay.
That's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Moving on now to the IT report from our administrator, Agnel DeSelvi.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. So as you all have received the report, there's a couple of big projects that we're working on. The first one is the utility billing. I'm working with finance, trying to get that, up and running. Also, we're working with fire department on fire records implementation. So we're looking at probably somewhere in November for go live on that. Also, you all have received the report on our cybersecurity posture. We have done significant improvements on that, and I would like to thank the council for your support. And we continue to look into other options to keep it going with. Does anyone have any questions on the reports that I sent email?
No questions? Thank you, Agnel.
Thank you.
Moving on to 13A, we have an ordinance amending chapter 118 of the city code pertaining to licensing. At this time, I make a motion to dispense with the reading of the ordinance, and I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion or debate? Attorney Simon, would you like to explain maybe what this is?
It's simply a cleanup of the ordinance. The city will be no longer requiring license applicants to submit copies of their state video gaming permits. We can always check that online if there's ever a question for it.
Okay.
Makes it a little bit easier for our applicants and renewals.
Any more questions?
Yeah, how does that make it easier for them? I don't understand that.
It's not, they're just not going to have to provide another document. I mean, obviously they have it because if
Right.
a state inspector comes in, they're going to have to show it to the state inspector if requested. It's just one less piece of paper they have to gather.
They still have to write it for the initial application, just they don't
Yes.
have to resubmit it to us every year, Alderman Williams. So it's just basically one less step that they have to take in their renewal process.
Okay.
It also saves our clerks a lot of time too, because sometimes they forget that, then they have to spend weeks or a month following up, hounding the folks. But they can literally just we can log in online and verify right there that they do in fact have their state license still.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Alderman
please.
Trillia?
Oh, I'm sorry. Aaron?
Well, okay, so I mean, because the state check, so if they would lose their Illinois gaming license, they would know that. I mean, they wouldn't be getting money from the state, I would assume at that point.
Right. They'll get a notice and they'll get a letter outlining their rights of appeal if they wish to. And of course, if they have their license suspended or revoked, it automatically revokes our license
Yeah,
as
so
well.
Okay, that's what I would assume we would know anyway if they would get it revoked. So, okay, that's what I needed. Thank you.
Questions? Roll.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes,
Streeting, 6 yes.
Is there any more items of information, Attorney Simon?
Yes, today we completed our first side lot sale in a while. Final contract, quitclaim deed, and completed P-tax declaration were sent out to the buyer. And of course, they've already paid and signed the contract. There are 2 more contracts out for review for applicants. There are about 15 others that are ready. However, they do require some income verification because they're part of the CDBG program, as Logan informs me, Logan and Christina. So as soon as the income verification is completed by Logan at all, those documents will be ready to go. Finally, as already has been mentioned by Ashland, we have an offer out for our assistant corporate counsel position. The applicant requested until Monday to consider the application or the offer. She is a very qualified individual, and we're hoping she accepts our offer.
Any questions for our attorney? Thank you. Moving on now to the police report, and the Commander Webb will be taking Police Chief Chris Yates' place tonight.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I just have one item that the chief wanted me to bring up tonight, and that is our Jag Grant. This is a grant that we have participated in multiple times. The Jag Grant is the Edward Byrne Memorial Grant. It brings about $46,000 to Vermilion County, and now that gets split between the Danville Police Department and the Sheriff's Department. What this money does is it allows us to put supplemental patrols or extra officers on the street. We use about $24,000 would be our portion. We use that. It comes out to roughly about 470 hours of extra patrol. We can use that to focus on any areas we're having any kind of crime problems, and we can use that for extra enforcement. We just can't use it for normal overtime to just fill shifts or things like that. That's part of the grant. One thing to note, this is not a matching grant. There's no money the city needs to match. It's just simply the money that we get awarded, we have to work with. And like I said, that comes out to about 470 hours, and we've participated in that multiple times in the past. Does anybody have any questions on that? The only other item that I had tonight that the chief wanted me to bring up is we still have 3 probationary officers in the academy. All indications are that they're doing well. They're about halfway through. So as long as there's no hiccups, they should be graduating here in the next 8 weeks to a month and a half or so. And that's all I have.
Questions? Thank you, Commander Webb.
Thank you.
Moving on to 15A, a resolution accepting a grant from the Illinois Housing Development Authority's Abandoned Residential Property Municipal Relief Program. At this time, I make a motion to dispense of the reading of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion or debate? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Pickering,
Yes.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York.
Yeah.
Streaming, 6 yes.
15B, a resolution amending fiscal year 2021-2022 Illinois Housing Development Authority Abandoned Property Program Fund budget. At this time, I make a motion to dispense with the reading of the resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or debate?
But we're basically just getting an extra 37,500 for demolition from a grant. Is that correct?
Yeah, Aaron, it's a different IDA grant than what was previously brought to the council. That was the SCP, so just different fund code.
Okay, thank you.
Tricia?
Is this money that we were anticipating and that we've already allotted towards specific houses being torn down, or is this in addition to what was allotted?
Anticipated, no. Hopeful, yes. We submitted about 10 properties on the application. Same application as submitted for the SCP. It kind of goes along the East Main Street corridor plan, which is a solid plan to attach to these applications. Since we were awarded 37,500 of that, we think we can get 4 to 5 on that list, and they do follow that East Main Street corridor plan.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Streaming, 5 yes. I'm sorry, 6 yes.
Logan will be taking any questions or items of information. I'm sorry. Do you have any items, Logan?
Nope, just the awardment of the grant.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I guess now Mayor, do we need a closed session tonight?
No, Madam Vice Chairman, we do not.
Okay. Any items of information?
Yes, ma'am, I do have 2 for the good of the cause. First and foremost, I would ask that you keep all Chairman Poor in your prayers. I received a call from his son yesterday. He was out visiting his daughter and wasn't feeling well, and unfortunately, he's been admitted to the hospital. All indications are that he's on the mend and that he should be out by the end of the week. But please do keep Chairman Poor in your prayers. Second thing I wanted to let everyone know, I just received before the meeting an email notification from Aqua, Illinois. A very small portion of the city has been placed under a boil order. That is the area roughly bounding Main Street to the south, Logan to the west, Madison to the north, and Gilbert Street to the east. So again, the area around the car development and putting in some new mains and some new infrastructure. The water pressure dipped below 20 PSI for a bit. And so out of an abundance of the caution, they've issued a boil order, a temporary boil order for anyone living in that area. Truthfully, it primarily affects myself and about 5 other households.
Mayor, how will these residents be notified?
We were all sent an email, we were called, and sent text messages as well by Aqua, Illinois.
Aaron, did you have a question?
I meant to ask it actually earlier. This was on the sanitary billing, or not sanitary, the sewer billing that it's for Ashland. A lot of us have it taken auto withdrawn. Is that just gonna, from the sanitary district, will that just continue to be auto withdrawn, or do we need to do anything?
That's a really good question. So our impression through the vendor is that they are able to import, if it's banking information, they're able to export that from the sanitary district and import that into our software. So if it's ACH withdrawal, you should not have to do anything new. However, if you're doing like through their credit card online payment, there may be some changes that you have to make there. And if you're doing bill pay through your personal bank, you'll have to change the vendor, of course, and get that sent somewhere else and use the appropriate account number. But if it's ACH withdrawal, so straight from your account and routing, there should not be anything that you have to do. That's what we've been told. So that's the hope.
That would probably be a lot of work for you if you had to go through and get all those ACH accounts again. All right, that's good to know. Thank you.
I do have Inspector Rick Brown has put in all of our mailboxes at City Hall as an environmental code enforcement sub areas. And it does show the areas that each one of our inspectors have. And they are subdividing those, and they're going to stay in those divisions. Like one day would be, like say in 2, it would be 2-1, then the next day 2-2. But he said now if there was some kind of emergency where they'd have to go to another area, they would. But those should be in your mailbox if you want to pick those up. Anybody else?
Vice Chairman, I do believe Alderman Ludwig had her hand up as well.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I was just wondering how long Aqua in order to be in effect.
They did not give Alderman Ludwig, they just said until further notice. I'm hoping that it'll be a short time because I would like to brush my teeth before I go to bed, but if not, I guess I'll have to get a little jug of water or something, so.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Or items of information or any questions? At this time, I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Troya,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Streeting. 6 yes.
Thank you.
So we are adjourned. Great job for your first time, Madam Vice Chairman.
Thank you.
You did a fantastic job.
Wonderful job.
Good night, everybody. Have a safe evening, safe week.
Right.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Recording stopped.